Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, a new campaign in Iraq. A large force of U.S. and British troops heads south to the so-called Triangle of Death. We'll have details. Also, preparing your family for terror. A government ad campaign uses children to get the message across. We'll give you the inside story. And have you ever seen the National Attic? You will when we take you to an exhibit of rare artifacts at the National Archives. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. A major new offensive is underway tonight in Iraq. U.S. and British troops are in action against guerrillas, terrorists, and bandits who've turned a region south of Baghdad into a killing zone. This is the third major operation launched in Iraq this month, and the U.S. military reported today that American casualties have gone way up. Since November 1st, more than 100 U.S. troops have been killed, more than 1,000 wounded. And CBS's Kimberly Dozier reports there is more intense combat yet to come.
Now that American forces have almost finished fighting in Fallujah, some 5,000 U.S. and British troops are concentrating south of Baghdad in the so-called Triangle of Death. The new campaign is aimed at Sunni insurgents who repeatedly launched attacks, like this one shown today on a militant website in which a devastating roadside bomb was detonated alongside U.S. troops. The area is described as a major hotbed of anti-coalition militant activity, including bomb-making and terrorist training. But the violence is also taking on an ethnic aspect. Some here already talking about a hidden civil war. The highway south through the triangle is the most direct route to the Shiite holy city of Najaf, and that has made it a hunting ground for Sunni gunmen, eager for what is said to be a $1,000 reward per Shiite worshiper killed. At least 2 prominent clerics have already been stopped on the road and executed. In Shiite neighborhoods across Iraq, they welcome the U.S. crackdown against armed Sunnis. This is not a resistance, it is terrorism, says this man, especially against the Shiites.
Top Shiite leaders say the Sunnis are resorting to violence against Shiites because they know they can't win a fair fight in the elections. Sunnis make up only 20% of Iraq's population, to the Shiites' estimated 60%.
Election registration is going without a hitch in Shiite parts of the country, after their supreme leader, Grand Ayatollah Sistani, said voting is as sacred as prayer. But in Sunni areas like Mosul, militants have burned registration forms and threatened election officials with death. 4 such officials have quit, and registration is falling far behind schedule. Insurgents are expected to intensify their efforts at stopping the vote, which they fear may leave them on the losing side once and for all. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Baghdad.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has just launched a new ad campaign aimed at parents. The subject, what to tell children about terrorism. Is this public ad campaign a good idea or not? CBS's Bob Orr shows you the ads and reports the pluses and minuses.
There are no horrifying images, just young faces. No frightening threats, only questions.
Mom, if I'm at soccer practice, what if something happens? Will you come get me?
There's no reason not to have a plan in case of a terrorist attack.
The ad, just one of 3 released by the Department of Homeland Security, is the latest attempt by the government to focus people's attention on the reality of terrorism. Since 9/11, the public has watched highway checkpoints multiply, airport security lines grow, and the terror color code bounce up and down. But in the barrage of in-your-face terror messages, officials worry people have failed to make simple emergency plans for their own families.
Mom, shouldn't we pick a place to meet?
The new spots are aimed at jump-starting home preparations.
There's some things that you can do that may save your life, or it will certainly put you and your family in a better position should something happen.
The ads direct people to the Homeland Security website, where there's an emergency planning kit.
The phone doesn't work.
While there are critics who warn the new ads could traumatize children and make them more afraid than necessary, the spots are aimed at adults, not children. And child psychiatrist Dr. Paramjit Joshi, who studied the effects of terrorism on children, says the ads are a wonderful idea.
I think it helps parents to face the issues that we are facing. And these are questions children are going to ask anyway.
Officials concede past attempts to get the public's attention have not been well executed. Most of us remember duct tape. But research suggests the new ads will connect, and the kids' questions might be hard to ignore. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
A few words now about the CBS Evening News and your reporter. After nearly a quarter of a century as the anchor of this broadcast, I've decided it's time to move on. I'll be leaving the Evening News next March. I will not be leaving CBS News, however. I will continue to report to you, working full-time on both editions of 60 Minutes and on other assignments for CBS News. It has been and remains an honor to be welcomed into your home each evening, and I thank you for the trust you've given me. In the meantime, there's news to report, and we'll have more of it in a moment. Did you know it's possible to go back in time, back through more than 2 centuries of American history? You don't need a time machine to do it. No, as CBS's Jim Stewart reports, all it takes is a trip to the National Archives.
If America has an attic, this is it. The place where we keep all those old records from the mundane to the memorable.
We have everything from U.S. District Court investigation of the Titanic to Watergate.
This tells you about the danger of icebergs. Right. Somebody should have read that.
That's correct.
There was a cancer growing on the presidency.
If it was worth saving, this is where it's at now, in a new National Archives exhibit just opened called the Public Vaults. You can still see the Constitution, of course, but this is where they keep the really good stuff. Here's the actual telegram announcing the surrender of Fort Sumter, the immigration papers of Albert Einstein and Alfred Hitchcock. That's Lee Harvey Oswald's original mugshot. Here's the classic White House photo of Richard Nixon with Elvis.
This looks familiar.
Yes. This is a Zapruder camera from the Warren Commission investigation.
The actual camera.
Who can forget the scene it captured that long-ago day in Dallas? Want to hear the voice of Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt? They've got it on a wax recording.
We stand for the rights of the people.
There's presidential boyhood film, ranging from a shy Lyndon Johnson to lifeguard Ronald Reagan. Plus, there's presidential humor.
And I'm president of the United States, and I'm not going to eat any more broccoli.
And presidential arrogance, Nixon on Watergate.
This involves these Cubans and a lot of hanky-panky that we have nothing to do with ourselves.
A big hit are old recruiting films.
Be a weekend warrior.
But most of all, it's that sense of shared history, old times and our times, carefully preserved and now laid out to be marveled at all over again. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
More stories are just a click away, but be sure to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Wednesday's broadcast, one state passed a law permitting doctor-assisted suicide. Now the federal government wants to strike down that law. Another issue that divides us in CBS's Eye on America special series. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.